लेकिन सबसे पहले नेशनल फिल्म बोर्ड में वर्ल्ड हेरिटेज प्रोजेक्ट द्वारा प्रस्तुत एक खास फोटो एग्जीबिशन पर एक रिपोर्ट देखते हैं जिसका नाम है भारत। भारत नाम है टोरंटो में लगाई गई इस प्रदर्शनी का। भारतीय चेहरों, संस्कृति, परंपराओं को कैमरा में बंद कर टोरंटो निवासियों तक पहुंचाने के अनूठे प्रयास के पीछे एक ऐसा चेहरा जो भारतीय न होकर भी इस देश से 2 दशक से भी लंबे अरसे से खुद को जोड़े है।
I think it was from when I was a little girl watching Bewitched, and the Uncle Maurice kept going to Bombay. Just the name to me evoked so much. It was, and then obviously once you get older, you start to read on the culture and the history, and I just felt I was very much drawn there. The first trip I took was with my husband, and I think that I was irrevocably changed. I knew I had to get back. Someone once said to me when I went deep sea diving, he said, there's 2 kinds of people in the world. There are those who, when they see the shark, go straight to the top and never go back, and there are those who can't get enough. India's like that for me. I can't get enough because there's such tremendous history, there's such color, it's so diverse and it's so vast, the subcontinent. I have friends who've never been and they say to me, why are you going again? Come to Florida and sit in the jacuzzi. And we're like, no, I think I've got to get back. So I feel like it's a second home in some sense. My last trip, I actually drove through Madhya Pradesh, which some of my Indian friends said even they don't do because the infrastructure for highways isn't finished yet. So at some points where it said, we have roads, there actually weren't. But in the rural areas, there is such a warmth and also probably such a curiosity traveling through there. In the cities, it's becoming, I'm sorry to say, quite homogenized, quite Western. There's a lot about the West that's good, but there's a lot that we export that might not be the best of us.
वर्ल्ड हेरिटेज प्रोजेक्ट इस नॉट फॉर प्रॉफिट संस्था जो दुनिया के हर कोने की प्राकृतिक एवं सांस्कृतिक धरोहर को संभालने के उद्देश्य से शुरू की गई, इसका विचार सैंडी को कब और कैसे आया?
Trip that I made, I was in Burma and India. I was at some orphanages, and I had seen some stunning places. I had photographed some amazing things, and I wanted to show the beauty, but I also wanted to make sure that the work that I was doing would somehow benefit where I was. So I started calling some of my friends and colleagues in the photography business and said, I'd like to create a project where we gather together the top talent in the world, top photographers, filmmakers, writers, all forms of artistic expression, to create the world's greatest celebration in each country. Now, we won't choose what we're going to highlight. Each country will tell us via what they have given as their list to the UN for the World Heritage Sites. And then we come around that and we create books, documentaries, exhibits, events, multimedia events to help raise awareness for the next generation. The 2 stars of the show are Mary Ellen Mark and Steve McCurry. And then there's Jug Gandu, who is from Toronto, of Indian descent. He did an exhibit here prior to this, and I had seen some of his work, liked it very much, asked him to participate. He donated his work, which was lovely, because the whole point of this is that the images not only raise awareness, but with the sales, we take all the proceeds and put it back into World Heritage Project to continue on. Then there's myself, and then Malcolm Armstrong, who is our project director, and he was finishing his PhD in India at the time.
And it was my first trip actually going somewhere without having an agenda, right? So whatever city I normally travel to, I spent a day doing the touristy thing. But this was really quite special, where in the morning I would just get up, put my cameras on the shoulders and go. And I was just shooting the cityscape, and I fell in love with these columns or pillars, and I'm snapping away with oncoming traffic, and then all of a sudden this kid comes popping out of one of the pillars and starts running frantically. I'm not sure if he was scared or excited, but the expression on his face was just priceless, and that to me is one of my favorite shots of the trip.
This picture I shot, I was in Bombay, or Mumbai now, in the slums, and this is actually a garbage dump, and this man is asleep just on slats of wood, and yet here's a picture of the beautiful Ashwara Rai. And I just thought there was something so universally human about this, that we all have our dignity, we all have our dreams, and it just struck me. This is probably one of the most astounding buildings I've been in India. Not that you grade them because they all have their own uniqueness, but every column you see is a completely different type of carving. And so I'd been there for quite a long time, and I was again with my husband, and he's waiting, and I said, darling, I had the shot set up, ready to take it, and he said, just take the shot, can we go, I'm hungry. And I just knew that the heart and soul beat of any building is a person. And all of a sudden this woman just came out of the side, crossed over, and I got one shot, and there it was, and then I knew. Like you just know, you've nailed it.
वर्ल्ड हेरिटेज प्रोजेक्ट बाकी नॉन प्रॉफिट संस्थाओं से कैसे भिन्न है?
Though it's doing tremendous good, it's also a celebration, because a lot of these countries, people just think either bombs or poverty or whatever, and there is so much richness to be celebrated. So it's just kind of balancing the scales of what we see all the time in the news.
किसी एक की जिंदगी में या एक घर, गांव, शहर में सकारात्मक बदलाव लाने की प्रक्रिया लंबी या मुश्किल हो सकती है, लेकिन सकारात्मक भविष्य की ओर उठाया हर छोटे से छोटा कदम महत्वपूर्ण कदम होता है।